What's going on, everybody? Good evening. Jumping straight in, usually is about 5 minutes after I set the stream live to when I actually come on air, but today we're going fast. I'm ready, everything's set up, even the chat's working this week. I've had a rubbish week, City of Sport that a little bit tonight, we'll discuss that soon. Snowhere to be seen. Obviously the genius I am making a snow joke. If you're in the UK or Ireland, you're probably snowed in right now. Sterling, nowhere to be seen. Very frustrating. Bad week for me. But we'll talk about all that soon. It's absolutely freezing in my house. Had this hoodie on earlier for the video I made. Zip all the way up. Basically, we don't have no heat in our house because we forgot to order any oil, which we use for our house. And yeah, it ran out basically. So we got no heat in, which is great. So in most of the house it's freezing, but we have a fire in the front room. So the front room's boiling, but up here, freezing. Also, I noticed the window was open earlier for no reason at all. But anyway, hopefully we won't talk too much about snow, because if you are in the UK and Ireland, you're probably sick of listening to about it for now, at this point. How are we all? Matthew, how's it going? Adam, good to see you. Super Tiger, on time. How's it going? I got 51 points this week. Francis is going to come off Ibe, and nothing for Sterling. Yeah, I got some bread. Got some bread this morning. I didn't go out for bread, by the way. I just happened to be in a shop that had some, so I picked some up. Usually we don't even eat a loaf a week. But this week we've eaten more than ever. Before we even knew there was going to be a shortage. Ridiculous. Anyway, I've already spoken about the snow too much after saying we weren't going to talk about it. What temperature is it? Like, just below freezing, I think? Got Carter, Otamendi clean sheet, and Shaqiri coming in for Sterling. Oh, that's so good. It's hard not to be... It's hard not to be like a bit down on this week. I've just had another bad week. Becoming too many. At this point last season, every week for me was pretty good. I think I had green arrows most of the running. This year, it's going to be red. I went up 7,000 places before tonight's game. That's definitely going to drop. I've got no players. 1 point coming on. I might even get a red arrow. Yeah, people with Edison, fair play. How's it going, Alexander? Yeah, Mkhitaryan. Would have got the assist for the penalty. Obviously, Aubameyang missed that, so no points for him. Edison, owners, fantastic. And what was the other thing? I saw Walker went off for a knock, but I don't know how bad it is. Should we sell Sterling? I'm basically going to be waiting on news in the press conferences to see if he's anywhere near fit. I'll be honest, I'm tempted to sell him. But that's because I kind of need some money from somewhere to make other upgrades. So I might downgrade Sterling to be able to upgrade Ibe or Crouch. But it's tough because if I downgrade Sterling and upgrade Ibe, I'm probably just bringing in... And I don't even know if there's enough money for this. I haven't checked. Like Walcott and Shaqiri. I don't know if I want to do that this week, to be honest. How's it going, Harry? You live in London. Working from home. Yeah. I was off work. The office was shut today. It's shut again tomorrow. So I've been at home. Even better is, you told me 2 weeks ago it was time for Sterling to go and bringing in Shaqiri. I'm going to need evidence of that. Ramsey had a red shirt on and white shorts and he looked peed off. Sounds about right. Live right near the Emirates, really not that much snow, massively overplayed by Sky. I mean, this week Sterling for Walcott's not probably a good move, so I guess it, for me, like, let me just remind myself who I've got this week. So remember, this week's fixture's not as good as the next two. I should know because I've got Pickford. Oh, this connection is slow tonight. The weather is probably not helping. Everyone needs to tweet their pictures of bread. Oh, Burnley away. Okay, that's not so bad from a defensive point of view. Not so sure about for Walcott. Neville was very tame on Arsenal tonight. Maybe he's been told off. Do you not recall you were like, fair play if it works out? Yeah, that sounds like something I would say. I don't remember, to be honest. David Silva looks as good as he did before his issues. Why didn't Otamendi get minus for the penalty? Because it didn't go in. Sky were operating an Arsenal love-in. They obviously got a complaint from Arsenal. We're trying to be kind to them. What's up, Jansky? I know, like, there's all of us in like UK and Ireland moaning about like -1. The whole city's shutting down. Whereas you guys are living in places like Finland. It's only -18, he says. Arsenal 3 losses in a row. Yes, but obviously, yes, that is an issue. It can't be good for morale, but 2 of them. Well, isn't it 4 with Spurs then? Because they lost the Europa League game. City twice, Oosterund, whatever they're called, and Spurs. Is that not 4 in a row? But I still don't think that will carry on with Brighton away and Watford at home. Surely that's the time to turn it around and make it look like they're going to be good again. Do you drop... Nah, I don't think you drop Ramsey. I'd honestly be looking at bringing him in. I know it now looks a bit riskier to do that, but I just think for those fixtures, there's not many better teams to target this week, I don't think, for the next 2. Granted, that is very... like a very small period of fixtures. Jack Leonard's nowhere to be seen. Love it. Thank you. I mean, to be fair, no and nowhere puns with snow are pretty easy, but compared to my normal titles, it's better. You're a delivery driver. I don't envy you, to be honest. What's bonus looking like? Yeah, so for anyone not watching live, it's 9:59 on Thursday night. Man City and Arsenal have just finished. Arsenal rubbish, lost 3-0. So glad Aguero didn't score. It looks like currently, and this might change, Ederson and Sané are both on 3 points, and then Walker will get the 2. They're quite far ahead of Bernardo Silva. So it looks like those 3 will get all 3. Martin, thanks for the stream. No worries. Yeah, delivery driver. I actually rang up the oil place there. I was like, any chance you can deliver me some oil? And they said the roads and stuff were bad. I was like, yeah, fair enough. Can't really complain. It was my own fault. Does Granville still have Bernardo Silva? Do you know what? I thought that when I saw that he'd scored. But I don't know. I would say no, but... No, he doesn't. I think he sold him for Sigurdsson. Which is like so bad. Like, not a bad decision, but just it will feel bad because he kept Sterling and he did nothing. Was a lot of talk about Mkhitaryan when he went to Arsenal. Never fancied him. To be fair, like I think... I don't know actually. Opinion was kind of split on Arsenal when they beat Everton 5-0. My point of view was they got 5 games before the next Premier League... Sorry, they got 2 bad games in the Premier League and 3 outside of that before the next good Premier League game. So you might as well wait and see how they are. And to be honest, that's how it's worked out. They've done nothing since that Everton game. But I don't think you should discount them just because of the next 2. Is 53 a good enough score this week? I don't know what the average will be, but it seems like about 50 to 60 this week seems about it, to be honest. Is getting Sané a knee-jerk? Here's a knee-jerk comment for you. I didn't get to mention it because we didn't talk about Man City on the Scoutcast. But one of my points was going to be that because he's been out for so long, because the league's going to be wrapped up soon, maybe, that not only he might be a better option now, although I don't see him getting rotated that much in Europe, to be honest, but he's probably going to be a better option, and maybe even Jesus, once the league's wrapped up, perhaps Aguero will get saved more for Europe, and maybe Jesus then becomes a better option as well. Am I concerned about Sterling now that Bernardo Silva is showing form? I think the thing about City is, though, they've got so many talented players. Like, Bernardo Silva's not even a first teamer, and he'd probably get into most other teams in the league fairly easily. So am I that concerned? Not hugely, because I think Sterling's not as good as De Bruyne maybe, but he's been up there in terms of consistent players for Man City this year. But as we've said all season, to be fair, it's not really happened. Even if Pep's not rotating, they've definitely got the squad to rotate if they want to. So it could get very tricky once Europe's wrapped up. How many more games is City away from winning it? I think, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not going to go and work it out. They said before the last game, or after the last game, they needed 6 more wins to guarantee it. But obviously that takes into account kind of Man United and Liverpool also winning. So if they've won tonight, I'd say it's 5. As long as Man United, Liverpool, etc. also win all their next 5 games. Otherwise, as those teams drop points, obviously Man City have got to win less. That makes sense. Arsenal to rotate maybe, since they're probably out of the top 4 race, and focus on the Europa League. That's a good point. I think I saw Jay tweet about that as well. Sky said they need 5 wins. Yeah, 5 wins to absolutely guarantee it, but it could be sooner if, if Man United don't win the next 5 games, because obviously they're in second. Arsenal to rotate maybe because they're out of the top 4 race. I don't know. Does Wenger have the confidence? Wenger. Have the confidence to do what Mourinho did last year. It was pretty risky the way he went about winning the Europa League. I mean, obviously it worked out, so he looks maybe not a genius now, but it worked out well for him. Was focusing everything on the Europa League. Will Wenger do that? It's going to take me a long time to train myself out of Wenger. Will Wenger do that? I don't know. We'll find out over the next 2 games, I suppose. It's a big risk to put all your money on the Europa League. If it doesn't work out, then miss out. 10 points, yes, it's tough, but it's still doable. They've got a very good run in. United did the same thing with Europa last season. Arsenal could easily lose to AC Milan. Yeah, exactly. Good point. Still think Aubameyang Watford at home is a good differential captain for anyone risky enough. Yeah, definitely. I think Ramsey you could probably put in there too. The thing is, everyone's going to captain. I will captain Kane. I just don't know. For me, if I had Aubameyang, it would probably just be enough to own him, unless I was really far behind. But I've spoken about this before. Sometimes people get behind and they just keep taking risks to try and get it back. But sometimes you fall further away. So, like, captain and Aubameyang is basically like a double risk. So it's kind of risky having him because you could have Aguero, Kane, Firmino instead. And then if you captain him and he prevails, it's like a double risk, if that makes any sense. Whereas if you just have him, it's risky enough. And if he does well, you're still going to get boosted. How would I get Aubameyang into that squad? I wouldn't really. A lot of hits. I've actually, if I'm honest, I've maybe slightly made a mistake with my transfers last week. Getting in Eriksen and Mahrez. And that is completely hindsight, because if they'd done really well, I wouldn't care. But I've left myself with no money and no good way of upgrading play either Ibe or Crouch. I can't really play 4 at the back with the fixtures my defenders have got. And anyone that I want to downgrade, I can't downgrade Salah, obviously. I can't get rid of him. I can't get rid of Ericsson and Mahrez because I've just got them in for these fixtures. Sterling, maybe. Yeah, I've left myself in a bit of a tough position. Now, I can save a transfer this week, but I've got to use one next week. So, we'll see. Aubameyang has the fixtures now. We know the Gunners are flat track bullies. I agree, yep. Especially at home. I think that Watford game looks really good. Have I seen Kane's potential game week 37 double? I haven't, to be honest. Or I haven't worked out who it could be. So it's West Brom away, and it'll be Brighton away. Decent 2 away games. I have seen that, actually. Triple captain, yeah, he'd probably be my captain. Then again, hang on, who's... Let's have a look here. Sorry. So Man United could be, if I've worked it out right, it'd be Bournemouth away and Brighton away. Sanchez, triple captain, anyone? I don't know. I mean, we saw Kane. If he's going for the Golden Boot, we saw what he did last year. Yeah, going back to what I was just saying about my own team, Alonso is a full guy, but I'm not so keen on getting rid of him when he's got Crystal Palace at home next. Why do I keep injured players that lose you points? You had no one in for Sterling. Yeah, but I wasn't expecting Sterling to miss out, to be honest. And I missed out. It's just unlucky, really. Plus, I would have taken a hit. And what transfer would you have done with those players? For me, I've said this on the preview, it would have been Sterling out for Walcott, Jones out for Van Dijk, or Crouch out for Nias. And none of them did anything. I'd actually be worse off than I am now. So, if anything, playing with 10 players is better for me this week. Yes, as FPL Seagull says, the polls, top right hand corner. Click here, little I button. Vote on the polls. I think I went with all 5. What to do with City players? Can Arsenal still do well? The Arsenal one, I didn't want to put, are you bringing in Arsenal players? Because most people probably aren't because of the blanks anyway, let alone how they've played. But it's whether you think they can still do well, not whether you're going to bring the players in. Whether you think those players will do well regardless of whether you own them or not. Game Week 29 captain. Are you looking to bring Ben Davis in? I think he looks good. Game Week 31 captain choice. And also, while you're there, hit that like button. Be much appreciated. Rhinos. Got 25 all out and another missed penalty. Oh, that is harsh. Who was the missed penalty? Aubameyang? I don't know. Did anyone else miss a penalty this week? Can't remember. Looks like Arsene saying bye to the lads in the dressing room. There's just no way he gets fired or leaves after losing to Man City. Now, if they lose the next 2 games, then it gets a bit tougher, but we'll see. In the league, they've basically conceded, 4 goals to Spurs and Man City in the last 2 games. It's not the end of the world. Yes, they lost the Carabao Cup, but, I mean, how many teams have beaten City this year? And they were away to Spurs as well. Dabmunda, keep up the good work. Been here since the start of the season. Thanks for tuning in all season. I was thinking that the other day, actually. If you disregard the house move, pretty much gone every week since the season started. Might see out a full season this year of videos and whatnot. Only 200 watching, I know. Times are tough. Oh, I got new plans for the wall. Might be a little while though. I've been rearranging this room a bit. The goalkeeper poll didn't have my choice, no goalkeeper. I don't think many people would advise that or go for that, but you're right, only a limited amount of options. Also, you'd think, I don't know, I mean, Wenger, obviously I don't know the man, but coming across from what you hear about him and Like, obviously, he loves Arsenal. He loves football. Wants to stay in management. Just wonder how stubborn he is. Because surely after that big a reign, you'd want to leave on your own terms. Just even though it's on a low, you leave rather than getting fired. That's not how he wants to go. Surely, is to actually be fired. Yeah, it would just really dampen the reign of. To be fair, after what is it? Is he on to 20 years? I mean, to be fair, it's probably about half good, half bad at this point. Sorry I missed the Monday Sunday stream. Couldn't face it after the result. No worries. I was actually thinking about you, Chelsea fan. I didn't actually talk about Man United that much. I don't think. Where's Foster in the polls? He's not in there. He would come under someone else. As Adam points out, someone else would also be no keeper yet. 21 years. There you go. So, how many of those have been good? They've won a few FA Cups recently, to be fair. You're going without Firmino. Oh, you're definitely in the minority. I think Firmino, for the blank at least, maybe not over like the next 3 fixtures, but for the blank, Firmino's got to be number 2 target behind Salah, I'd say, for most people. What do I make of Pope's rumours for the England squad? I think he deserves it, to be honest. Even if he's not first choice, I could see why they might not want to make him first choice. You know, pressure, no experience in the England team, but he deserves to go second or third, like backup. When Wenger gets criticism for losing the final, but what about other managers who didn't even make the final? Interesting. I think, oh God, you could talk about this for ages. There's a couple of things. One, the other managers are doing better in the league. At least the ones that, you know, you think could challenge top 6, etc. I think the way they lost the final was pretty bad. It looked like they got no fight, and some of that's down to the players. You know, from an outsider, you don't know whether that's all the players just not up for the fight, or are those players not up for the fight because they just don't back Wenger anymore. And it's hard to say whose fault that is, really. So I think it's just the way they got to the final and then the way they lost, rather than, you know, getting a load of grief for actually making the final. So, yeah, you're right, though. But do you know what I mean? Second's just not enough. The thing is, these days, like from a chairman point of view, you know, Mourinho doesn't get to the League Cup final, but finishes top 4. They're happy, aren't they? In the Champions League. In the money, basically. Thing is, England have no stand-up keeper, all decent but non-top class. Yeah, I mean, compared to, like, you know, Neuer, Buffon. I think Buffon's retired, actually, isn't he? But Neuer, De Gea, etc. Just rubbish. Would you prefer a consistently high level of performance but not quite winning the title, or a big high then a big dip in performance like Chelsea? You've got to go for the big high. You'd rather win the league once in 5 years than never win it. Oh yeah, they're not even in the world. Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. And to be fair, I saw a tweet about goalkeepers earlier. There's 2 obvious keepers I'm missing alongside Neuer. De Gea. Top class goalies I just can't even think of. Oh, interesting question. Mahrez blanking was definitely unlucky. When does being unlucky reach a limit? At what point does one start re-evaluating one's playing style? That's a very posh way of phrasing that question. Courtois, yeah, of course. Oblak, yeah. When does being unlucky reach a limit? I don't know. I don't know if there is a limit. I think it would depend on. Yeah, I know. I can't remember exactly who's at the World Cup. We're just going through good keepers, really, for countries. Maybe they're not good enough if they can't get their team to the World Cup. Anyway, like, take the Mahrez thing. Like, it's unlucky he didn't score, but I wouldn't say I made an awful decision. And obviously I've not made a good decision because he's not done very well. But at some point you've got to back something. So for Mahrez, I was backing the fixtures, backing the fact he'd been informed before. He was back in the team. He assisted in the FA Cup. Kind of got cheered off, even though obviously he wanted to leave. As Physio says, he's a proven Premier League player. He's proven it this year. So I think that was a fine call, to be honest. Now, Sanchez, on the other hand, is slightly different. So I think it was unlucky that... I don't know if it's unlucky he missed the penalty, to be honest, because he's one of those players that's not very good at penalties. So it's a bit like Lukaku. You don't necessarily want him on penalties because he's not going to score enough from an FPL point of view. Open goal, though, that's unlucky. But at the same time, Sanchez was a risk to start with. So you've got to question that decision to bring him in. I knew that was a risk. I don't really want to get into this again because I've spoken about it so much. But so for me, Mahrez and Sanchez, I feel like I was unlucky not to get points from either. But my reasoning for bringing in Mahrez was much better than bringing in Sanchez. But again, Sanchez did have the fixtures. But he had no form, and he's had no form all season. Was coming into a new team, very expensive. So that decision was more questionable. Like I said a lot about Aguero, you go back and look at your decisions. Did you make them for the right reasons? At some point you've got to back something, whether it's your gut or the stats or something. As long as you made the right reason, made the best decision you could, then what happens after that? Can you wait till they get out on the pitch? FPL is a mix of skill and luck. Yeah, although I do agree with that, but some people do well every single year. And you can't put that down to luck all the time. They're playing the odds, basically. And it comes back to, boring picks, safe picks, however you want to word it. They work, basically. So you're playing the odds. It's not that you absolutely... it's not that I bring in Eriksen. I know 100% he's going to get points. I'm just playing the odds that he's a great player who's consistently scored points before for a good team, who's in good form with good fixtures. So I'm just backing the odds that Eriksen is a good pick. It's crazy how people like Mark and Jay always seem to bring in players just before they pick up form. Yeah, but they're looking at fixtures, stats, just knowledge of what they've been like before. Sometimes it's a gut feeling. Sometimes it's just a player that's done well for them in the past, maybe. If you listen to Jay, a lot of it is... He said himself when he came on the Scoutcast, he plays quite risk adverse for the most part, but there's times when he will take the odd risk. And it's all odds. It's not that much different to poker. It's like when you have a hand in poker, it's like bringing out my point I just made on Eriksen. I'm betting that all those factors mean I'll get points. It's like having a great hand in poker. You make the bets on the probability that you're going to win because you've got a great hand, but at some point you're going to lose. Oh, now we're getting into it. It says, depends how your class doing well. Consistent top 5k finishes take skill. But if you never take the punt to get higher, does that make you a good manager? Interesting point. I don't know, what does everyone think of that? Because I would love a few top 5k finishes because I've not done it before. I've only done it once. But you're right that there's a few gaps. Like, for me, 10k is a good finish. Although we may have to reevaluate this with the amount of people that play in the game. But 10k is a good finish. 5k is obviously a better finish. But 5k to 1,000, like top 1k, I think there's quite a bit of difference there. And then top 1k to top 100, again, is obviously it's a 900 place difference, but I think it's bigger than that in how hard it is. What happened to mine? Nothing's happened to mine. I'm just tired, I think. Bad lighting. Hang on, let me shine some light. Ooh. Yeah, bad lighting. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, I guess top 5k is like finishing top 4. Yeah, fair enough. I think it depends how you think about it. Like, for me, I never used to be that worried about my overall rank. Like in my first few, let me just double check. My first couple of seasons, and every season I've played, I've had access to like Fantasy Football Scout. So when I say had access, I mean I've used it. I don't know if that's making my eyes even darker. So I've been in there, I've been discussing with the community and stuff. So I finished just outside the top 20,000 in my first season, and just outside the top 10,000 in my second, and then 15,000 in my third. So low-ish, but nothing great. But in maybe not the third season, but in at least the first two, I was quite close to top 10k, or in the top 10k, with kind of 4 or 5 weeks to go, maybe even longer. But I'd wrapped up the only mini-league I played in, like way before that. So I didn't really care. So I remember, I think it was the first or second season, I took so many 8-point hits towards the end that I just didn't need to do. So I just didn't really care. So I hurt my rank. Whereas now, I wouldn't do that because, although I'm not that bothered about it, people will always look at my rank now that I do YouTube stuff. And so it's almost like proving to them that I can do it, which is why I was so happy to get top 5k last year, and why I'd like to repeat it this year. Anyway, it's definitely getting harder to achieve a high rank with more people playing and more info. But again, like you see people like John T and Jay, they're doing well again. So what are they doing that the rest of us aren't? Getting the captain pick right is a big part of it. That's got to be more about ability than luck. Again, though, I'd be interested in going and look at the top players. How many times do they change captain? Or do they just think Kane and Salah score all the points? I'll just captain them. I mean, people that got Aguero in for that 4-week period and captained him, like, fair play. I think that's kind of playing the game, bringing someone new in, captaining him. But generally, you don't change the captain that often. Any questions that I know? I'm not bothered about people questioning me. It's just, it's just nice to have the higher finish, especially when I put so much thought into it. I think of the overall in percentages. The only problem with the percentages is they change year to year and people don't take that into account. So people that say they've had X amount of top 1% finishes are generally basing that 1% on this year's total number of players, which are much higher than previous years. Like some of the years that I've played in, and I say only here, there's only been like 3.5 million people. Now there's 2 million more. So that 1% is different. What's your aim this season? Overall, there's still some mini leagues I want to win, but I would like a good overall rank. Cheers, Jamie. See you later on. Here we go. If you want to use poker analogy, there's a famous saying that you can't play enough live poker tournaments in your life to tell if you're actually any good. Because of variance, yeah? Makes sense. You're around 200, 225k. I mean, there's still enough weeks to get a boost. I mean, I saw a good post on Fantasy Football Scout today, and it basically said, is Fantasy Premier League boring now? Now, I haven't checked that poster's rank, and I'd be surprised if they're doing well, because generally, And I know it's not everyone, but generally people start thinking the game's boring or they're going to give up or it's their last season when they're doing bad, not when they're doing good. And do you know what I mean? It can feel like a chore sometimes. But I get what he's saying is that we've saved up our chips now, most of us. We know we're going to use the bench boost in the double game week. We know we're going to use the triple captain in the double game week. We know we're going to get that boost in rank. We're almost just waiting until the end of the season to get the big score. I just wonder if they should do something about that. I don't think they're going to take away the chips. It's just very unlikely to happen. I wonder if they can add in more, but the problem with that is it would, swing things a bit more. Probably make ranks all over the place a bit more. Apologies if you're experiencing buffering, by the way. I'm still on 4G, so it should be okay-ish. But the weather's bad. It's probably affecting it. Everybody but De Bruyne scores. Come on. Actually, to be honest, for a neutral... Sorry, not a neutral, but for someone that didn't have any City players tonight and Arsenal players, the score wasn't that bad. The clean sheet, not great. Penalty save, not good either, but goals from Sané, Silva and Silva, kind of good, really. Nothing from De Bruyne. So one assist from Aguero. What about 3 chip reset at January? Yeah, I definitely think they need to either get rid of the chips. I'm not necessarily for them getting rid of the chips. I just would like to see... I would like to see those chips or something different being used in the first half of the season. Would I rather have 3 top 5k finishes or 1 top 100 than 2 seasons finishing outside the top 1 million? Top 1 million's too high, so definitely 3 top 5k. Now, if that top 100 finish was number 1 in the world, that's a different story. What if chips couldn't be used in blanks doubles? Yeah, fine, but they're not going to do that. Because the way... maybe they could. I just don't see them writing a rule that says if there's a double game week, which we know there will be at the start of the season, but it's not actually penciled in for sure. You can't use chips. I just don't think they would do that. It's that time of year where we talk about new chips for next year and the prices of players. That'll be soon enough, yeah. A few more weeks. How do I think the proposed winter break will affect FPL? To be honest, it won't affect it that much. Not from a games point of view, because if a winter break comes in, that will be known at the start of the season, so that will be built into the game weeks. So it'll be just like having an international break. So yeah, obviously players will get an extra break, which is good. More time to recover from injuries and stuff. So we'll just have more to think about. But in terms of blanks and doubles, it won't make any difference. I don't think. Now, if that changes like FA Cup replays and stuff, then obviously there's potential for maybe less blanks, I guess. But yeah, it wouldn't be the biggest deal, I don't think. Who's the highest rank in the scout category? Jonty, I think. You would feel like a beast winning FPL. Imagine the bragging rights. Imagine the views. I'd have so many subscribers. Although, would I? Would I show my team? Would I be showing my team right now if I was number 1 in the world? I'd be showing the team, actually, because obviously everyone can see it. Would I be telling you my decisions, though? Pochettino's complained about it because the other teams will be fitter. Is that big an issue? I don't know. Fitness plays a part, but I think the quality of players for Spurs is going to set them apart. I think because most of us are savvy, we save our chips, and it seems boring, easy to forget there are millions of other players who use it willy-nilly. Yeah, you could be right there. You got to also remember, like, some of us, like, I wouldn't consider myself playing that long compared to others, but I've played now for, this is my 8th season. So I guess in some ways it does get a bit tedious. But I'll still be here, same time next year. Sané is incredible, I agree. The draft version of FPL is fun, no chips, each player can only be on one team. I know, but the problem with draft is there's not enough players, I don't think. I mean, my problem is I always forget to do it, and then other people get ahead of me because they get the transfers first, and yeah, it's just annoying. I like the idea of draft, and I like it for a little while, but then I forget about it, and other people stop playing properly, and it just takes away the fun of it. FPL's growing every year, just a matter of time before a mainstream channel will have FPL shows. For sure, for sure. Wish the break was in January, gives us all a rest after the hectic Christmas games. Yeah, that's the point, actually. From what I saw, they're still going to have the Christmas period. The break's going to be in February, so they're still going to run themselves ragged over Christmas, and then have to wait a couple of months or a month or so for a break. Next stream, can you put up a poll of chips used already? I can if I remember. If you follow me on Twitter, when I always ask for what polls people want on Twitter, usually about an hour or so before the stream, because they're not set up beforehand. So if you follow me on Twitter, remember Twitter, too posh or too Western. Twitter, then let me know. Remember FPL had a £5 buy-in, whatever happened to that? Yeah, it just got cancelled and never brought it back. Ultimate FPL. Are Man City the best team ever? Bit early to say, but never seen a team that can absorb injuries so well. Didn't miss Sterling one bit. Full credit to him, yeah. I mean, they've been amazing this year. And you're right, it doesn't matter who's got injured, they've continued it. I mean, have they had I think they beat Newcastle someone 1-0. Have they had a spell where they've gone through like 3 or 4 games just winning 1-0? Like, it just seems like they've been scoring goals for fun all season. I seem to recall maybe a small period. Oh yeah, they had 2 games where they scored 1 against Newcastle, none against Palace. Oh yeah, there was a few 2-1 wins, I think, where they scored quite late. So 4 games in a row, they won 2-1. Yeah, it's crazy the amount of scoring. Winter break is the smokescreen. A lot of foreign players play in the Premier League and it doesn't impact them during the World Cup. Yeah, fair enough. Chilwell at home versus Bournemouth or Kenny away? Chilwell, I think. Bournemouth do have a tendency to score though. Kenny away to Burnley. I think I still play the home man. Oh yeah, I saw someone mention Arsenal fancy Ty. It's like, why does he even get spoken to? Is Arnautovic a good differential for Swansea away and Burnley at home? Yeah, I think so. I think him and Arsenal probably for the next 2. Fixtures-wise, at least. Well, apart from Eriksen and Mahrez, if you haven't already got them. I kind of got it in my head that if people were getting Eriksen and Mahrez, they did it last week. Why take out Sterling needs a goal machine? Chelsea at home, will he be fit? It's blank. Is he going to get rested soon? That's some reasons to take him out, but you're right, he's a point-scoring machine. Probably going to hold Sterling, save a transfer. DT. Oh, I don't really want to talk about Arsenal Fan TV. I don't really want to talk about it. I'm not that big a fan. But fair play to Robbie and what he's done with that channel. That I can get behind. What am I thinking about the third Liverpool player? So, without trying to like just bore you with the same answer, I'm still leaving my options open, but of course now I'm looking at Robertson a bit more because it does look like he's nailed. We've seen that he can attack. Now I still think Van Dijk's got a goal in him sooner or later, but I'm also still got my eye on Mane. The problem with Mane is, so here's the problem with my team. This is based on my team, not on who's best. If I want Mane, I've got to wait until I can get rid of Eriksen or Mahrez, or do both. Or get rid of Sterling as well. I need some money somewhere to get him. So for that move, I probably want to wait till 31. But if I'm saving a transfer this week, or if I'm making a transfer this week, saving it next week, then it has to be Van Dijk or Robertson. So that may push me, because I don't want to get into a position where I'm burning the transfer. So I might get one of the defenders, but actually Mane might be the best option. I think he might be a nice little differential. The sad part is the worse Arsenal do, the more Robin makes. Like what? Yeah, but people like that, don't they? They like drama. So the rants and stuff make people watch. Your last video uploaded, you mentioned Arsenal not blanking in Gameweek 3. That was only if tonight's game got called off. I think I mentioned that. Maybe I didn't make it clear enough. Mane's been too hot and cold. But again, going back to the odds, you're basically... I mean, the odds are probably not as high for this, but you're getting him in for a game where it's Watford at home, where not many other players are playing. You're hoping that he will get the big points in that game week and get you a boost while people are sleeping on him. You're probably not going to keep him long term. They're all building their own social media profile. Yeah, absolutely. And again, I don't have a problem with that. Like they want to do that as a job. Why wouldn't you? Mane higher ceiling than Van Dijk. Yeah, although not with a goal, assist, and 3 bonus points. Goal, clean sheet, and 3 bonus points. Sorry for Van Dijk. Does anyone use the watch list feature on FPL? No, I probably should actually. That's what I'm saying. I'm so sad. It's so sad for the rest of the YouTube fan accounts. But to be fair to him, he gets out a lot of videos after the game. Like he's getting that content out nice and quick for people. He's consistent. It's always there. But the Man United channels are quite big too. I think Arsenal's probably overtaken him at this point. Burnley's press release earlier makes me fearful the game with Everton could get struck off. That's actually something I forgot to mention on the preview video. Is that there's obviously chances games get called off this weekend. Now, the bad weather, for anyone watching that's not in the UK or Ireland... well, I keep saying Ireland because that's where I am. It doesn't matter. For the bad weather in the UK, the worst of it is supposed to be tomorrow, so Friday. There's flights getting cancelled and stuff like that. So you'd hope by Saturday it'll be okay. But we don't know yet. So that's one of the reasons I also want to save a transfer, because I don't want to be second guessing games being called off. Imagine how big the United channels would be if Moyes stayed. Yeah, good point. What I don't like is people that rant for the sake of it. I think you can do a good video and have a rant without just sitting there moaning with nothing to kind of back it up. There's no decent Liverpool YouTube channels, I don't think. Yeah. That'll happen, I'm sure. Doesn't matter. He has content because Arsenal is so bad. Yeah, but he still makes the same content when they do well. Joe, we're never going to know. We're never going to know how the channel does when they start doing well until they do well. So, yeah, exactly. It's all about fans getting to the ground as well as the condition of the pitch. So the pitch will be fine for the most part, I'd say. Like, Pictures of stadium these days are so state of the art, undersoil heat and all that kind of jazz. But yeah, you're right. It's actually getting to the stadium, so we'll see. Walcott's annoying, fearing he will cost points even if he turns up in Gameweek 31. Yeah, that's the problem if you've made the move for 31 players already. Again, that's why I'm trying to put it off. But then again, by doing that, I'm not having Shaqiri in my team, who's just getting points every week. By the way, if you haven't already, hit that like button, much appreciated. Always good to have the support. And polls, top right corner up here, little eye button. Go for it. Sterling to Mahrez. I mean, that's an okay transfer if you look at the next two. But one thing to say about Sterling, again, I forgot to mention this as well. You got to look at what price you got him for. For me, I got him for 7.9 million. So if I think I'm going to want him on my wild card, which I might do, a 7.9 million City midfielder, I mean, that's pretty tempting. So it's a bit harder to get rid of him. But at the same time, you don't want that price affecting and being the only thing that affects your decision. Because sometimes actually getting rid of a player like that, yes, you might have to bring him back, but you'll then be less attached to him. So let's say I get rid of Sterling this week, and I think actually that was a bad move. I should have got him, or I should get him back on wildcard. So I get him back in, and I think actually I need to get rid of him. If I've paid full price for him, it's a lot easier to do that. And I'm not saying you should get rid of a player just for that move, but that's kind of my thought process sometimes with that. Plus, he is falling in price. If he misses out against Chelsea, he's going to fall in price some more. So the actual price difference might not be that bad in the end. What's happened to Disable on the Scoutcast this season? I spoke about this last time, I think. Him and Az were just rotating. And then for a few weeks in a row, he couldn't make it, so Az kept coming and just kind of gone on from there. I think he works like shifts, and sometimes they're just not good timing-wise to come on the Scoutcast. I don't think there's anything more to it than that, to be honest. You'll have to ask him. If Sterling's out for Sunday, he's gone for me. If there's any indication that he's out, I'll probably get rid. But I don't know what I'll do. I'd probably have to get a Gameweek 31 player. Walcott, I'd imagine, or Shaqiri. Hard to find fan opinions on different teams for FPL. Oh, hang on, I've missed... Where is that comment? Oh, I don't know. I'm captaining Salah. I'll put my... It's been long enough on the stream. I'll put my normal this week's team up. So it's looking pretty ugly for me this week, I'll be honest. We're waiting on Jones news as well as Sterling. I wonder if Mendy dabbed, if everyone would like him so much. He's quite funny though. Yeah, Jones, I'm actually a bit worried about him, to be honest. Even if Mourinho says he's back. Because, yes, he's been first choice for most of the season, but we've got Smalling, we've got Bailly back now as well. Lindelof, to be honest, has looked okay when he's played now. I think he's a bit calmer in that defence, so we don't necessarily need to rush Jones back. So I'm actually already thinking he's going to miss out. So I'm looking at potentially replacing him for a Liverpool defender. Now, if I go Robertson, that gives me a bit of money to upgrade Sterling, but I wouldn't be able to get Mane, which is a bit annoying. So I might take a hit this week. I might just get Maybe a Liverpool defender and Walcott, something like that. But I've got Ivan Crouch. My team are just... It's not good, to be honest. Might even have to start looking at some Huddersfield players, but I think they've got... Matip to be a bit different. I just think that's being different for the sake of it, to be honest. I think going for Chan, for example, to save some money. I could swap Ibe for Chan, for example. That's a bit different. But I think going Matip instead of Van Dijk or Robertson, just don't really see why. Matip can score, but still. Still into Mane and Joe. Yeah, I've got hardly any money in the bank, so I can't really do that. Oh, Chan's only 1 yellow away from suspension. I did not know that. Yeah, that makes him super risky then. Oh, you're in a mini league second, down 40 points to a team that's never made a transfer. Ouch. That would be frustrating. Right, we're going to do the polls in 1 minute. If you haven't already, vote on them up here, top right hand corner. Click that little eye. Hit the like button while you're doing that. And we will do the polls. All 5 of them. Man City played with no defensive midfielder away to Arsenal but kept a clean sheet. They probably had most of the ball, didn't they, for most of the game? If you make a transfer before activating your free hit chip, will my transferred in player remain in my squad when the team reverts? No. As soon as you use that free hit chip, anything else you've done is cancelled. I should bring in Sanchez. Nah, maybe for the double. It's very expensive though. Can't see me bringing him in. Yeah, people who got on Shaqiri recently, excuse me, have done very well. That would get far too complicated if you could make transfers and then use your free hit. Ricardo, 27 degrees Celsius in Orlando, Florida. Very, very nice. -1 here. Although I've warmed up a bit doing the Scoutcast. Scoutcast doing the stream. Jesus. Time to try Counter-Strike. Ooh, I can't do it. I had a really good game in PUBG earlier. Didn't win though. Is it just news on Jones and Sterling that will make you make a transfer this week? Yeah, I think so. If they're both classes fit, I'll probably keep both. And just rethink again next week. How do you see the polls on the computer again? Usually you just have to hover over the top right as like a little eye. I'm also the world's worst at PUBG. Although, I can't stream it. It's too much pressure to stream and play. Plus I can't hear properly the sound. Like I had a game earlier where I got 5 kills, which I know to pros is like nothing, but it's not that bad. I got 5 kills and finished 8th. And I only died to the sodding circle as well. Super annoying. Do I ever check out Statman Dave on YouTube? Very good for Man United tactical insight. Convinced me to keep Lingard this week. Pure jam. Very nice on the Lingard call. I know who he is, yeah. I don't watch him all that much, to be honest. You won a game with 23 kills. Get out of here, Jack. You can get used to Fortnite. Do you know what? I actually updated Fortnite on my PS4 earlier. So, who knows? Nah, I didn't get run over by the van. Bring Ben Davis in. No, 72% because of the Blankham rotation. 16% of you, yes, you're looking at him. And 10% apparently already own him. If you own him already, nice one. You're looking good. Game week 31, keeper choice. Oh, wow, okay. So 12% is Karius. I'm going to go from the bottom up. 12% Karius, 16% Pickford, 17% Butland, 21% Lossell, nice choice, Crystal Palace at home, and then 31% going for someone else. So Ben Foster came up, some people going without a goalkeeper apparently. So that are your polls for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hennessy, yeah, good point. You'll have Mariappa captain next game week. Okay. You don't own either Kane or Salah. Oh, Rhinos. That is... Sure, I would say I'm surprised, but with you, not surprised. You like playing your way, and that is cool with me. Yeah, I think Karius is an okay choice, but I think most people would rather have an outfield Liverpool player. Have I got any FPL superstitions you prefer not to watch your captain play? No, really. Not really. I'll definitely watch my captain. I'd actually rather watch the game if I've got a captain playing. I don't even buy into the, what time a match is on and stuff, because I tend to make my decision, at least on paper, before I even look at who's playing when. Obviously, I know who's playing or what fixtures they are, but not what time they're on and what day they're on. So I don't think I have any superstitions, to be honest. Not that I can think of. I think Sané looks good, but I just don't think you're bringing him in right now. Chelsea at home, then Stoke is okay, then a blank. I mean, over the next 3 game weeks, you probably want him for 1. I know he could get points against Chelsea, but you're pretty much backing him for that 1 game out of the next 3. And who knows what position City will be in the next 3 game weeks. Is Eriksen captain too risky? I mean, it's a bit of a punt. It's a good fixture though, a good player. Could do well. Right, lads, I think we're going to... we'll call it there. We've done the polls. We've done loads of the questions, answers, all that good stuff. As always, appreciate you all tuning in. Much appreciated. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Mr. T, I would also like to see Sanchez play a striker, although can't bench Lukaku after that game against Chelsea. Imagine if that overhead kick or that scissor kick had gone in. But yeah, like the video if you haven't already, be much appreciated. Subscribe if you're new around here. Cheers for all the questions tonight. I think it was, don't want to say more of an interesting stream, making it out like it's never interesting, but yeah, I like the discussion tonight. It was good. So yeah, like, comment, share, subscribe. Good luck in game week 29. Hopefully you'll do well. Not as well as me, of course. I will tweet out my team before the game week starts. Obviously, there is some stuff still up in the air with Jones and Sterling, but we'll see what happens there. Right, I'm off. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Much appreciated. See you later, everyone.